Have you ever felt that if you just had more money, all your problems would go away? What if I told you that while money can ease some pain, it can never truly fill your heart? Stick with me as we uncover the biblical truth about money, pain, and what really brings fulfillment in life. Spoiler alert, it's not what you think. Money is powerful. It can put food on the table, provide shelter, and help in times of crisis. Yet, for all its power, money remains a tool, not the source of true joy or lasting peace. Today, we'll explore why money often reduces pain but fails to bring fulfillment, diving into biblical principles that reveal the deeper purpose of wealth and the ultimate path to contentment. The Bible acknowledges the practical benefits of money. In Ecclesiastes 10:19, it states, "Money is the answer for everything." Of course, this verse isn't advocating greed, but highlighting money's utility. It can solve logistical problems and provide temporary relief from life's stresses. Imagine someone struggling with unpaid medical bills or facing eviction. In those moments, financial support can feel like a lifeline, alleviating immediate pain. Proverbs 22:7 also warns, "The borrower is slave to the lender," reminding us that money can free us from the crushing burden of debt. However, here's the catch. While money may soothe discomfort, it doesn't address the deeper longings of the soul. Pain may diminish, but fulfillment remains elusive. The Bible provides a stark warning about relying on wealth for happiness. In Matthew 19:21-24, Jesus tells a rich young ruler to sell all his possessions and follow him. Why? Because Jesus knew that the man's heart was tied to his wealth, blocking him from the ultimate fulfillment found in God. 1 Timothy 6:10 famously says, "The love of money is the root of all evil." Notice it's not money itself, but the love of it that corrupts. When we chase wealth as a source of identity or purpose, it becomes a false god, leaving us empty despite its promises. True fulfillment, according to Scripture, comes not from accumulating possessions, but from aligning with God's will and embracing His love. In John 10:10, Jesus says, "I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full." Fulfillment is a gift of grace, not gold. Consider Solomon, the wealthiest king in Israel's history. He had everything: riches, power, wisdom. Yet in Ecclesiastes 1:2 he declares, "Meaningless, everything is meaningless." Solomon teaches us that wealth, when pursued without purpose, leads to vanity. Contrast this with Paul, who often faced poverty and hardship, but declared in Philippians 4:11-13, "I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances." Paul's joy came from Christ, not his material state. His life underscores a profound truth: fulfillment transcends wealth. Money is a tool, not a master. The Bible encourages stewardship, using resources wisely to serve God's purposes. In Luke 16:10, Jesus says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." This emphasizes responsibility and faithfulness in managing wealth. We are called to be generous, reflecting God's heart. Proverbs 11:25 teaches, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Money becomes meaningful when used to bless others, alleviate suffering, and advance God's kingdom. Here's why money alone can't satisfy. It was never meant to. Ecclesiastes 3:11 tells us, "He has also set eternity in the human heart." This means our souls yearn for something eternal, something only God can provide. Money can buy comfort but not peace, distraction but not purpose, pleasure but not joy. Fulfillment flows from knowing our Creator and living in harmony with His design. As Augustine famously said, "Our hearts are restless until they rest in You, O God." One of the great paradoxes in Scripture is that true abundance often comes from letting go. In Luke 6:38, Jesus says, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." This reveals a counterintuitive truth. Generosity unlocks blessings. When we cling tightly to wealth, fear and scarcity dominate our lives. But when we open our hands and hearts to give, we experience God's provision in ways we never imagined. Consider the widow in 1 Kings 17 who shared her last bit of flour and oil with the prophet Elijah. Her act of faith led to a miraculous supply that sustained her family through a famine. Modern research echoes this biblical principle. Studies show that people who give, whether through time, money, or acts of kindness, often report higher levels of happiness and fulfillment. Why? Because generosity shifts the focus from "what can I get" to "how can I serve?" This aligns our hearts with God's design for community and compassion. Abundance, then, isn't about hoarding wealth, but trusting God as the ultimate source. Proverbs 3:9-10 advises, "Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine." When we view money as a means to bless others and glorify God, we tap into a divine cycle of provision and purpose. This paradox challenges us to reframe abundance, not as an accumulation of material wealth, but as an overflow of God's grace in our lives. True abundance means having enough to meet your needs while being able to share with others, knowing that God will continue to supply all your needs according to his riches and glory, Philippians 4:19. So how do we reconcile the undeniable importance of money with its inability to bring lasting fulfillment? The answer lies in understanding balance, a biblical perspective that views money as a tool, not a treasure, and aligns it with God's purposes. Money in itself is neither good nor bad. It is a neutral resource like fire. Fire can warm a home or destroy it, depending on how it's used. Similarly, money can ease suffering, provide opportunities, and extend generosity, or it can corrupt, enslave, and isolate. The key is not in the money itself, but in our attitude toward it. The Bible is clear that wealth is a gift from God, but also a test of character. Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth." Wealth is a stewardship, a trust God places in our hands to use wisely and righteously. Yet Scripture also warns us repeatedly about the dangers of letting money take the place of God in our hearts. Jesus' words in Matthew 6:24 couldn't be more straightforward. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. This doesn't mean we should despise money, but that we must never let it master us. Instead, our lives must be centered on serving God, with money as a servant to his purposes. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. Are you using money as a tool or chasing it as a treasure? I challenge you to realign your perspective today. Practical step #1. Start by reading Proverbs and Ecclesiastes for wisdom on wealth and life. Practical step #2. Commit to generosity. Give to someone in need this week and experience the joy of serving others. Practical step #3. Subscribe to this channel for more faith-centered insights that challenge the way we see the world. And always remember, you don't need to donate money to churches to prosper. You only do if you want. Don't fall for the trap of these pastors. We will never ask for your money. Just a like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed the message. Remember, life isn't about how much you have. It's about who you trust. See you in the next video, and may God bless your journey to true fulfillment.